Greetings and salutations, everybody. Davey Stallo here, coming to you after a few weeks of nothing to bring you ranking of the album covers by Genesis. And for those who watched my last show, I said I was going to do some renovations in here, and as you can see, nothing has really changed because I had to do other things. And those other things involved money being used on those other things that could have been used in here. Namely, cutting down some trees. And that was, I won't bore you with the specifics, but it was no fun, especially in the heat. Last weekend was really hot. The past weekend was kind of hot, but it's finally cooled down. I just wish we could have the cool temperature we had this past Saturday back that Labor Day weekend, but it wasn't meant to be. So anyway, as I said, we're going to be ranking the album covers of Genesis. And for those who don't know how this works, I'm going to go from my least favorite cover to my favorite cover. Basically the same thing I do with my favorite album, my least favorite album to my favorite album. So, anyway, Genesis started out in 1967. For those who don't know, they were founded by Peter Gabriel, Tony Banks, Anthony Phillips, Mike Rutherford, and Chris Stewart, who was the original drummer. Just a bunch of schoolboys at Courthouse School, a public school in Gondamia. Now, apologies if I've mispronounced this name. Godalming, Surrey. Godalming, Surrey. Apologies, but anyway. They just decided they wanted to be a rock band, and they were noticed by Jonathan King, a producer. So anyway, we're going to start with, like I said, my least favorite. There are 8 albums. I'm not going to include anything after Wind and Wuthering, though I'm starting to warm up with and then there were 3 and Duke. Everything after that, I'm not interested. I heard them. I've like a few songs off of Abacab, but everything else, just, well, I don't like. I know a lot of people don't like them, love them, great. I don't. I've listened to them, and maybe a song here or two, a song or two here or there, I might be interested in, but for the most part, I'm not. So, anyway, we're starting at number 8. There are going to be 8 albums. Starting at number 8. Get down here to, there we go. Released March 7th, 1969 on Decca Records. We're talking about their first album, From Genesis to Revelations. Now, this wasn't the original cover. The original cover had From Genesis to Revelation up here and Decca Record, the Decca logo up here. Song-wise, it's okay. I like some of the songs, but as far as the album cover goes, the original one was just black, like I said, with the From Genesis to Revelation and the Decca logo. They should have kept that one. This one, why they had, well, let's put it this way. Having a band on the cover doesn't do anything for me. It just says you weren't just into going out and finding something that would make more sense. But the only album with John Silver, the only album that had their original drummer, Chris Stewart. but he only played on one song. I believe he played on Silent Sun, which is one of my favorite songs off the album. John Silver played the rest, and that's the only album that either one would be on. Oddly enough, Tom Ollum, for those who know what I'm talking about, Priest, Judas Priest, he produced a lot of Priest albums back in the early 80s, mid 80s, so on. Here he's recording engineer. Jonathan Keaton did the producing, and much to the chagrin of the band, he added strings, which they did not want. They just wanted to write pop songs and become rock stars. That was counterproductive to him. So, but what can you do? He snuck it in, I guess. So anyway, that's number 8. Okay, number 7, released December 17th, 1976 on Charisma Records, Wind and Weathering. Now this cover is all right, but, well, let's put it this way. The back cover has got a little bit more happening there. That would have been a little bit better. This one, just having a tree and, you can barely see it, Genesis logo right there, and then Wind and Weathering. Clouds, a tree. No. Let's see, who did the sleeve? Oh, Hypnosis, and Colin Elgie did the sleeve design. Hypnosis, they're very well known, and they're also known for putting out fantastic album covers and dreadful album covers. Is this dreadful? No, but it's not a great album cover. Good album. I love a lot of the songs on here. But, and this is the last one with Steve Hackett on guitar. He would leave after this. He didn't like the direction the band was going, which I don't blame him, but it kind of makes you wonder what would have happened if he would have stayed with the band. Maybe he could have kept them in the right vein, in the progressive vein, instead of moving more to the pop vein. So, but we'll never know. So anyway, that's number 7. Okay, released November 18th, 1974, the last album with Peter Gabriel on it. I was talking about The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. It's all right, but I just don't get the storyline. I mean, it has the story in the booklet. I've tried to read it, but it just, what Peter Gabriel is trying to convey there, I have no idea. A lot of people revere this album. A lot of people love it. A lot of people don't like this album. It's a decent album. Like I said, the last album with Peter Gabriel. Of course, Hypnosis, again, did the album cover. Yeah. Back of the cover, was okay. Again, not a bad album cover, but it could have been better. So, and the same with the music. I don't get it. I've tried and tried to like that album. I don't hate it, and I do listen to it from occasionally. But if I remember correctly, on my album rankings, that was my last. That was at number 8. Very dead last. So anyway, that's at number 6. Yep. Moving on to the top 5 at 5. Released September. Came up with a new month. It's called September. And it kind of lies between February and March, somewhere in there. I think it comes around every leap year. Boy. February 2nd, 1976. First album with Phil as vocalist. Talk about A Trick of the Tail. Now this album cover, I kind of like. Hypnosis did it again, along with Colin Elgie. Got some interesting things going on. Also include some other things in here. Let's see. Of course, this one's got 2 discs, CD and a DVD. But the album cover, not the best, but I do like it. It does convey a little bit more of what the album's about. But I think they could have came up with maybe something a little bit better, but this is what we're stuck with. And that's going to be my number 5. I don't know what it was with Hypnosis and doing stuff for Genesis. You know, I just don't know. And I guess we'll never know. So anyway, that's number 5. Trick of the Tail. Okay. Number 4. Released October 23rd, 1970. Basically their first, you can almost say this is the first official Genesis album. Trespass. Now this album cover was done by, let's see here, Paul Whitehead. He did the layout. The band added the knife and the knife slash. I believe this album, the artwork was stolen. Let's see, why have I Yeah. I think it got stolen, but anyway. I really liked it. I kind of like the artwork. The album is really good. I mean, it's very well done. Their first album where they're starting to find, basically they're finding their footing here. They're finding what exactly the type of music they want to do, especially Peter. And he would kind of push them into this progressive style. So, yeah. Definite improvement. Trespass at number 4. Okay, moving on to number 3. Okay, released October 1973. Much revered album. Of course, we're talking about selling England by the pound. Good album. Very good album. And here, Betty Swanwick did the cover. And her album, include the lawnmower or the And I don't think it included this. I think this is supposed to be the Queen. I might be wrong. Can't remember for sure. Let's see. Yeah, the original painting did not include the lawnmower. The band had hers added later. So, anyway, I kind of like it, though it's really not my favorite. I don't think I could ever really put this at number one. But it definitely is an interesting album cover. And definitely a good album. You got songs like Dance with the Moonlit Dance with the Moonlit Night. I Know What You Like, a mainstay in their earlier concerts. Battle of Emping Forest, I kind of like that one. So, Cinema Show. But the album cover, I think they should stay with Paul Whitehead, and you'll see why I'm inclined to go that way. But anyway, that's number 3. On to number 2, top 2. Now, with all things, the top 2 is always the toughest to come down to which one's going to be number 1, which is going to be number 2. No different, especially on when it's concerning the music, but concerning album covers, no different. Here, either one of these could change places, but right now, this is how I like them. Released November 12th, 1971. Their second album, Nursery Crime. Now again, this one was done by Paul Whitehead. Very good artist. Is he the best artist? No, but here he is really, I love it. It's got things, like you got the giant hogweed. There's a song called The Return of the Giant Hogweed. You got it right there. And they're an actual plant it's really nasty, really invasive. Over in Great Britain, if you see these plants, you're supposed to get rid of them. Though I believe they're you don't do it without gloves. And they're very big. They can get very big. This is also the first album with what you could call the classic era of Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford, Peter Gabriel, Steve Hackett, and Phil Collins. Of course, Anthony Phillips played guitar on the previous album on Trespass, and I believe I don't believe Phil was on the previous album. But anyway, again, this album cover I would almost pick as my number 1, but the one that's to come I like a little bit better, and you'll see why. And like I said, the music on here is really great. The music box, For Absent Friends, Return of the Giant Hogweed, 7 Stones, Harold the Barrel, Harlequin, The Fountains of Samasis. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Great album. But cover on the next one is really a little bit better. Released October 6, 1972. Foxtrot. And there you got the fox. And Peter Gabriel would come out during this concert tour and wear his one of his wife's dresses and put on the fox's head. And again, you got Paul Whitehead doing the cover. This one I like a little bit more. It's more refined. There's the back. But it's just, like I said, like I said, I had a heck of a time deciding between this and Nursery Crime. They're both great album covers, but I just like this one a little bit, just a tad bit better. And the songs on here are excellent. Watchers of the Skies, I love. Timetable's good. Get Them Out by Friday, Can Utility and the Coastliners, Horizons, and of course the epic Supper's Ready. But yeah, this period of Genesis I just absolutely love. Back when these albums were coming out, I was just a kid in my pre-teens, early teens. Didn't know who Genesis was. The music on these didn't get played on the radio, at least to my knowledge. In fact, I never heard any of these songs until I started getting into Genesis. I knew their later stuff, but this stuff wasn't in, wasn't happening. But if you don't know this period of Genesis, you really need to check it out. It's progressive, great progressive rock. Peter Gabriel does a fantastic job with the lyrics and all that. The band does fantastic with the music. It's just great all-around music. Give it a try. Give it a chance. If you don't like it, okay, you give it a chance. But when people see something, and I've done this. I'm guilty of this too. Hear one song by a band, and they say, "Well, I'm not interested in that," or they love the later works, but they don't love the past works, or and it may be they don't know about it, and that's one of the reasons why I do this channel, is to get information out to people, to you, let you know that this stuff exists, and to go out and try it. I'll listen to a band. In fact, what was it? Can't remember the name of the band, but I'd never heard of it before. In fact, let me go on here. Go on to YouTube Music. A band like Nas. And I'm not talking about Nazareth. They're just Nas. Good band. Band that I listened to not too long ago, but I really wasn't interested. But I gave it a chance. Of course, it's not on here anymore. Not on my recent activity. But it's better to go out and listen to something and give it a chance than not having to listen to it at all. Music, some people say, well, I haven't got time, to listen to it. Well, music's different from, say, like reading a book. Book takes time. It can take, depending on how fast a reader you are. But here, generally you can tell by the first 2 or 3 songs whether or not you're going to like this album. So, but give them a try. Hope you enjoyed this. I really love going back and revisiting bands like Genesis. Genesis, like I said, back in this period, they just really had it hitting on all cylinders, as far as I'm concerned. Later stuff, you may love the later stuff like Magic or the Invisible Touch and so on. I'm not as interested in that. And then they were three and Duke. I've been listening to them more and more, and they're kind of starting to grow on me. So I might end up getting those. But right now, the first 8 albums is where it's happening, for me at least. So anyway, hope you had a fantastic weekend. Hope you have a fantastic week. Like I said, it's starting to cool down here. Please subscribe. I know I'm not the most charismatic kind of guy. I just like talking about music. I love listening to music. Without music, I don't know what to do. So, leave a comment down below. Leave your own listing, your own ranking of the album covers. If you want to include all of Genesis albums, that's fine. If you only in fact, if you don't want to include the earlier stuff, but you want to include do the later stuff, that's fine. I'd be interested in how you rank them. Also, like I said, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and so on. And things coming up. Oh, fact, I almost forgot. We got to make a little selection here. Now, in this bowl, we have band names, and I've been picking bands out and doing the ranking of songs. Ranking of songs is really tough. Ranking album covers is not too tough, but I think I'm going to do ranking the songs of who I pull out of here. And I got a lot of bands in here. So what I'm going to do is pick one, if I can, without looking. And who we got here? Ooh. Ooh. Why me? Now, don't get me wrong. I like this band to a point. I know there's a lot of people out there who do not like this band. So, do you want to know who it is? Nickelback. I've got 2 albums by these guys. 2 albums. You know what? I'm going to pick something else. I do love the 2 albums. I think Dark Horse and the one that comes after that. I can't remember the title. No, but again, like I said, a lot of people don't like that album. So let's pick something else. Something more interesting. Ah, very interesting. Winner. Starcastle. Now, for those who don't know who Starcastle is, the original lead singer for REO Speedwagon, I think it's Terry Luttrell, is the lead singer of that band. Can't remember if he was the lead singer for all the albums, but anyway, that's who we're going to be doing. Starcastle's not my favorite band, all-time favorite band, but they've got some good music. Now, okay, they started out in 1969, but didn't hit it big until Taylor Luttrell joined them after he left REO Speedwagon. And he stayed with them from 73 to 78, and it looks like they had a reunion in 2006, 2007. So anyway, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's see here. I believe it. Well, it says 11 here, but 2018. No, that's a compilation. Okay, final studio album came out in 2007. So we'll do that one. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is pick out the album number here, or try to. It's got to be the lower end. Good grief. Not that one. Good grief. Okay, here we go. Number 6. Of course, it could be number 9, as far as I'm concerned. But we'll go number 6, which will be 3, 4. Let's see. Echoes of Light. Okay. Let's go with Echoes of Light, which I don't think I've ever heard. So anyway, that's what we'll be doing. Ranking the songs of Echoes of Light. Or will we? This discography here is really weird, because they've very, very weird. Okay, scratch that. That is a solo. Let's sing a solo album. Type album. Album type. Solo. So, heck with it. Let's do we'll just focus on the first 4. And we'll go with, how about this? We'll go with number 2. We'll go with number 2, which is Fountains of Light. And I think that's really a good album. I've heard it just a few times. First album I love. This album, and Citadel, their third album, really great. So, and there's not too many songs on this one. 6 songs. One is 10 in excess of 10 minutes. The other ones are 3, 4, 6, 5. So, not a very long album. So that's what we're doing. Star Castle, Fountains of Light, next Saturday. I know this show's coming out Monday morning. I was going to have it out Saturday morning and do regular album rankings, but again, the best laid plans don't always go with the plan. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Trying to get back into the swing of things sometimes kind of hard. So see you next Saturday. Next Monday, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I'm kind of lean towards doing album rankings of Arion, the band, or person, band, whatever. It's only really one guy with a lot of guest musicians and singers, but we'll get into that later. So have a good week. Stay safe. Stay cool wherever you're at, and we'll see you then.